Hey, and welcome to the Ambitious Bookkeeper Podcast. I'm Serena Shoup. I am a CPA and mom of three, and I'm running a virtual bookkeeping business mostly from my home. You're in the right place if you're a bookkeeper, accountant, or an accounting student, and you know that your purpose is bigger than sitting in a cubicle. If you're ready to learn some actionable tips and strategies to help you start and grow a bookkeeping or accounting business, I hope you stick around. A few episodes back, on episode 48, in fact, I interviewed James Wedmore, an online business mentor of mine, and today I'm having him back on the podcast. This is more of a podcast takeover where you're going to hear just from him about how to make more while working less, something I think we can all agree would be quite nice. But before we get into it, I just want to remind you that on June 2nd, his free training series, The Rise of the Digital CEO, starts. This only happens once a year. It's going to be different this year than any year before because he's actually teaching it live with a real live audience where he'll be taking them through his content and implementing with them in front of you. So it's going to be incredible. Everything James does is above and beyond what you'd expect. I have linked the website to register for this free training series in today's episode show notes. So make sure you check those out and register. At the end of the 3 free trainings, James actually opens up his signature program, Business by Design, which I have gone through multiple times, and I continue to go back to it time and time again as I am continuing to grow and build my business. So I am an affiliate of Business by Design this year for the launch, and I will be offering some special bonuses if you join through my link. So make sure you go and just register for those free trainings with the link in the show notes, and I will be in your ears again talking about the bonuses I'll be offering when Business by Design opens. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode.
Hi there, my name is James Wedmore, founder of Business by Design, the rapid growth system for online experts that want to rapidly scale and grow their digital product-based business, and host of the Mind Your Business podcast. And I was asked to do an episode for you specifically on the topic and the big question of how do you make more and work less. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about in today's episode. And we're going to approach this from several different angles because that's what I've been able to do. Today, I have an 8-figure a year company for several years now. I've been running an 8-figure a year company and have really whittled it down to just a couple of hours per day. That changes here and there. You know, there's busier seasons in the year, but I don't have to be working 14-hour days or sleepless nights or anything of that nature. In fact, as I reflect back on my earlier days, I was working far more, pushing myself way harder to generate a fraction of what our business does today. And this is a process. This didn't happen overnight. I've been running an online business, selling digital products for the past 15 years. I've made just about every mistake in the book, and it's a pretty big book, and I've learned a lot along the way. I've also been able to coach thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs at every single level, and we do everything in the realm from, strategic business growth to increasing performance, building a team, advanced marketing, sales, as well as personal and spiritual growth as well. So it's a long laundry list because it's a lot that I've learned and a lot of it the hard way, but it keeps coming back to this same question, which is how do I work less and make more? So let's start at the beginning here with what I think will be the most important thing that I share. And if it's the only thing that you hear, may just be the most powerful thing. I believe that 90% of, if not all, 100% of the people that ask this question, there's something behind this that is actually causing the asking of the question, which is that they're connected. It's almost presupposing that they're connected. What do you mean by that, James? Well, how do I make more and work less means that we are still operating from some time-money connection. Most of us have been adopted and indoctrinated into a paradigm that I call the employee mindset, where making more means I have to work more. If you don't believe me, you can pause this episode right now and see what answers your unconscious mind give you when you say, in order to make more, I must blank. Or I believe that in order to make more, I must blank. And for most of us, it's work harder, work longer, work faster. For most of us, it's struggle, sacrifice, push, hustle, right? And if I do more, I'll make more. So the first answer to how do I work less and make more, you cannot pass go, you cannot collect $200, and you definitely can't make more and work less if you don't do this first piece. We must once and for all break the time-money connection. We must once and for all, if you are an entrepreneur, we must once and for all shed the identity of the employee paradigm and step into the world of entrepreneurship. The moment you do that and truly are in that world, you recognize that money and the ability to make money and attract money is not contingent upon work. That doesn't mean when I say this, that it means you just sit on the couch all day and collect checks. No, work is still required. I'm saying it's not directly correlated, which means if you're an employee and I hire you and you work 1 hour, I give you a certain amount of money. Let's say I give you $30. You work for an hour, here's $30. Say you want to make $60, you want to double your money, you double your time. You want to spend more hours? Yeah, you're going to make more. Some of us, most of us, are still doing that in our business. And when you do this in your business, two things are a real big problem. Number one, it's total fact that you are running your business just like you fuel your car. You're fueling your business from a finite resource, which means you've already decided there's a cap, there's a limit, and there's a constraint to my business growth. There's a ceiling. And for some of us, it's a pretty low ceiling. Why? Because there's only so many hours in a day. There's only so much energy you have, hours and output of work. And so now you're limited to that. If working 10 hours a day, which is a lot, is all you can do, and that makes you $1,000 a day, then you're limited to 1,000 times 365 if you could maintain that for the whole year, which most people can't, right? Now, but there's another problem, is that when we run from this paradigm, we've completely, utterly convinced ourselves that money is more valuable than time because we're willing to give away a finite, precious resource for money. And every single successful entrepreneur I know today has flipped it. That may not happen overnight for you, I understand. But they know that time is more valuable than money. Why? Because money is an infinite resource. You spend time, you can't get it back. You spend money, you can get it back and then some. And sky is the limit. So what I want us to understand here, that we cannot go any further in this conversation. If we're still operating our business that making more money means I have to work more, you will never be able to work less and still make more. We must break the chains of that connection. And I'll give you an example of this just to drive it home. Because number one, look around. Do you know at least one person that is working really hard and working like 12-hour days, but they have very little to show for it? Some of you might be like, yeah, that's me. Okay, so you're working really hard. You're working the full days. And someone that you know is doing that and they have little to nothing to show for it. Proof in the pudding right there, right? You know, here's an example that has nothing to do with business. You and I are neighbors and we both decide at the same time, hey, we should build pools in our backyard. And you're like, that's a great idea. And I start grabbing my shovels and I get to work and I'm digging. And then you look at me like, look at this knucklehead. Shovels. And then you go rent some big earth mover and in 2 days you've dug a hole and I've got like a little ditch in 2 days and you're done. Okay? So the reality is, the fact is, I worked harder than you. I worked way harder than you. You just had to control some levers. But you got the result. I didn't. So if the outcome and results that we want, we believe are only contingent upon how long and how hard we effort, then we're always going to fall short and we really run the risk of burnout. Because how many pools can you dig with a shovel, right? And how long is that going to take you before your blisters on your fingers, you're sore, you're, sunburnt in the sun, all that stuff, right? So that's what I'm talking about. Now, here's another example of this. My little sister just launched her product, and she did the same launch twice. She quadrupled the price. She took it from 100 to 400 and doubled her sales. Boom, overnight. That's amazing, right? So Yeah, conversion rate went down, but she did no additional work except change the price. She doubled sales. So these are examples. Like, that wasn't because she worked more. She didn't work twice as much. She worked the same. So we need to break free from that time, money, connection. We don't want to keep running around saying, I want a certain amount of money, but I don't believe I deserve it, so I must sacrifice and work harder and longer to prove to myself that I deserve it, because that'll never happen. It's like chasing a mirage, right? It's just not going to happen. So don't focus on making money. Smart entrepreneurs focus on making a machine that makes money. And that's what you want to do. You want to build the machine. You want to do what it takes, effort, time, energy, and money to build the machine. And then we need to get that machine to work for you. So when you're doing that, you're thinking more strategically. So to make more, we want to be more strategic in all of our thinking. In other words, we want to be leveraged. You want to understand the model that you're working from. There's a lot of bad business models for people that want to make more and work less. Here's a great example. We're running a restaurant. If you're like, James, I really want to make more money and work less, I think I'm going to start a restaurant. Do you know how much time, money, and stress being in the restaurant industry would be for you? OMG, right? So that's not a good model. You say, James, I want to offer social media one-on-one consulting for $50 an hour. Probably going to have to work long hours to make the money that you want. So there's no leverage there. Okay, so when we do leveraged, we mean we're going to do the work once, but it's going to have multiple outputs. I'm going to give you an example of this. Years ago, I promoted someone else's program. When people bought it through my affiliate link, I included a live event in person. So I got paid a commission to host this live event, 2 days in Southern California. So then I host the event. So I got paid by the commissions to host the event. I recorded the whole thing. Boom, all of a sudden, now I've got a new training program. I got a new course because I recorded the whole thing. Then I sold that in the future. I sold those recordings. Number 2, I got testimonials from people that were there that I could use those testimonials in my marketing. And number 3, I made an offer there. So I had 4 benefits from one 3-day event. I got commissions from a program. I got to record it. I got testimonials, and I made an additional offer. And I think I generated like an additional like 20, 30,000 there. Okay. That's leverage thinking. And when we're being smart and strategic in our business, obviously we want leveraged offers. Every single online business and online expert needs to have a leveraged offer. Now, a leveraged scalable offer means whether one person buys or 1 million people buy, it does not matter. It's no different. You could have 1,000 people go in it tomorrow. I know it's kind of hard for some people to fathom, like, oh my gosh, there's 1,000 people going through my course. Like, I'm freaking out, right? But it's 2 people. It's no big deal, but it's the same thing. It's all 1,000 unique individuals. So we all need to have that if we want to be making more. So it's going to be really hard to work less but continue to make more if there isn't a leveraged offer. And so any type of leveraged offer, online course, a membership, any digital product of sorts, is where it doesn't matter how many people buy it, your time doesn't go up and your cost doesn't go up. So if you went from 1 member in your course to 1,000, you wouldn't spend any more time, generally speaking, right? But if you had 1 client, coaching client, one-on-one, and all of a sudden got 1,000 one-on-one coaching clients, that's an example of not a scaled or leveraged offer. So we need to have that in place, okay? So that needs to be there before you go any further. Then we need to have a strategic way of getting that to as many people as possible, and understanding that once you've built that machine to sell that leveraged offer, the machine should be built in such a way so that the more people that see the offer, the more people buy. So if you don't have a way where thousands of people can see the offer at once, you're not really doing something to make more and work less. Does this make sense? In other words, if the only way you sell your course is you get on a phone call with someone, or they have to fill out a form or send you an email, you don't really have a scaled sales system. But if you go live on Facebook at a certain time and there's 2,000 people watching you live, all right, now we're on to something. Does that make sense? So the offer and the sales process has to be leveraged and scalable as well. And it doesn't mean all of your offers have to be this way. I have offers that are not as leveraged or scalable, but I do have offers that are. So I have both. Next, we want to look at your pricing. Always have what we're going to call premium pricing. If you don't have premium pricing, then I have to ask why. And I'm assuming that the reason is you think that if you have it priced lower, people will choose you over your competition. That means you're playing the price game as your unique positioning in the marketplace. And that's a price war. And if you play a price war, if your USP, your unique selling proposition is based on, well, I'm cheaper, then you lose. You'll lose, okay? Because now you're associated as being just a cheap product. So what you do, you attract cheapy people. They're just the freebie seekers. That's crazy because you're saying that's the only benefit that you offer in the marketplace is that you can do it a little cheaper. Why not offer a premium service, a premium product, and charge what it's worth, which means it's a premium price? Now, I understand I could be talking to people in many different niches, so this is all relative. So what premium price means is you're in the top 10% of your market.
We'll be back after a quick break.
This episode of the Ambitious Bookkeeper Podcast is sponsored by my brand new free training, The Ultimate Guide to Creating a Profitable Bookkeeping Business. In just 1 hour, you will learn 3 keys to creating and launching a profitable bookkeeping business. We will map out your path to creating a bookkeeping or accounting business that keeps you in control of your time, priorities, and expertise. From someone who built a 6-figure firm on part-time hours. That's right, you can stay in control of your time, keep family as your priority, and serve your clients well. It just takes a little strategy up front, and I'm going to help you with that during this free training. So head over to the show notes to sign up now for the next training and find out how you can choose the work you do, kick imposter syndrome to the curb, use tech to be super efficient, which all leads to a profitable business. Just head on over to ambitiousbookkeeper.com/training, and I will see you there.
You're priced right up there at the top. I don't want you to see, okay, everyone, let's see, I'm in the fitness space, and most fitness memberships are like $30 a month. Screw it, I'm going for $300 a month. Probably not the best unless you're very skilled in what you do as a sales and marketer to do that, to make that jump. I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm saying probably not the best place to start, but you should be premium priced. Premium price means you're in the top 10% of your market for comparable type products and services. Okay. And sometimes it's even going higher than that. That's fantastic. I offer premium services. I always over deliver, and my stuff ain't cheap, and because of that, I attract really committed, serious, awesome people that I love working with. I think you should be doing the same. So when your prices are higher for a leveraged, scalable product, you're going to make more by working less, period, right? And I won't get into the whole world of numbers and fun stuff, but some people go, but James, won't my conversion rates go down if I raise my prices? Of course they could totally go down. But the higher price still tends to offset the minor dip that happens in conversion. And it's usually pretty minor. So food for thought. Final thing in my make more column that needs to be in place here. And that is an ascension model. I talk about this heavily in my training for Business by Design and my free workshop, The Rise of the Digital CEO. The ascension model is understanding that this whole concept of lifetime customer value, LTV. The higher your LTV is in your company, the more successful your company is going to be. So what's an LTV? LTV is the total dollar amount of a customer over their lifetime with you. In other words, you've heard the stories or the little facts floating around that getting a yes from an existing customer is up to 10 times easier and cheaper than getting a yes from a complete stranger. And I don't know if it's 10 times. It could be 11 times. It could be 25 times. I don't know what the exact number is, but it definitely has truth to it. It is absolutely very accurate to get someone to say yes again, to continue working with you than to go chase new people. And think about that. So now we have a leveraged offer, which means we can bring in more people. We have it at a premium price, and we've brought them in through a leveraged sales system at a high price. And now we stack that with a second or third offer so that it's easier to sell to existing people and keep them in our world. And I have many, many, many examples of this, but I have an ascension model where people can join my program and then they can upgrade to coaching to work with me and my coaches at a more intimate level. But then we have opportunities for people to renew. And we ask people to stay in our programs. Hey, it's a 12-month program. They get to the end of the 12 months. You want to come back for another 12 months. And we see anywhere from 40 to 80%, not just going from one product to the next product, but staying another year or a third year. And this is one of the most effective ways. When you put them all together, that's the most powerful. But this is one of the most effective ways that you can be making more free from your efforting, is when you have a back-end offer, or what we call putting the ascension model in place, where one product leads to the next one. Now that you've learned this, how would you like to learn that? Now you've completed this, we've learned this, gone through this, here's the next thing to graduate to. Or here's how to renew or stay another year, come to the next one, Many, many different ways for this to manifest, but I wanted to lay these out in a big picture process. So these are all ways that we can start to leverage, break free from the efforting in order to attract more revenue, but there's also ways to work less. In fact, we have to focus on these because this is so important. So many ways that we could be working less. So I'm going to go over a lot of them. First of all, this is the one that people are going to hate the most, but this is the one that you're going to need the most, and that's hiring. Hiring any kind of team to delegate, to outsource, to get it off your plate. And if it means just starting with your first virtual assistant, because just getting a couple hours a day back is going to be such a difference for you. But if you're sitting here, and that's fine if you are, but I'm just going to call you out, and you're saying, James, I want to make more and I want to work less, but I'm unwilling to hire anybody, then good luck to you. I don't know what to tell you, because that's the easiest, most powerful way to work less, is to attract a team and to start with one person, even a part-time virtual assistant. You just take a few things off of your plate. Next, once we start outsourcing and delegating, that goes into a whole world. It really, really does. We can start looking at automating things. How can you automate more in your business? There's so many tools out there, like we use Monday.com and Zapier, that allow you to automate things that normally we don't, whether it's calendar invites or, certain emails or weekly processes and check-ins and reminders, all these little things that 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. And if you're not looking at it, they all add up and they eat away at your day. And so when we begin to automate those things, we get our time back. Next, I want you to look at ways in which you can rinse and repeat. How can we repurpose and reuse? If you're doing a launch or a promotion, are you starting from scratch every time? You're writing all those emails again, all that copy again, redo the sales page, redo the messaging? Or are you saying, let's keep it as it is? Let's use those same emails. Let's use that same ad. Let's just tweak it here, change it here. Let's use the same thing here. Let's repurpose. We do a ton of repurposing and a ton of leveraging, which means I can record a podcast episode like this and I can take a clip and I can go, boom, now it's on Instagram. Now it's on TikTok. So how can we repurpose and reuse our existing content? Because you are the bottleneck as an online expert. We have to create so much content as it is. So you might as well leverage it. You might as well reuse it. And then the last thing here is really around deletion. If you want to work less, we got to hire, we got to outsource, we got to automate, we got to repurpose. But what about deleting? Some things we're doing, we just have to be honest with ourselves. It's time to stop doing it. And the things you want to delete, the things you need to stop doing, are the things that are not scalable. So some people say, James, I'm doing pretty good, but I still want to work less. And I am working with one-on-one clients. I have 2 one-on-one clients. It's kind of dragging me down. I'm kind of tired of them. But I make a couple thousand extra a month with it. So it's hard to let go of that money. And I've been there. I totally get that. But if you're feeling that call, I can guarantee you, when you let that go, that old unscalable money go, if you feel like it is time to go, it's it's kind of draining me, feels heavy now, it will just open you up for more scalable, smart money-making opportunities. Guaranteed. This is how it always happens. But sometimes we hold on to those things that keep us busy and they drain us a bit. If you're still doing some low-value activities that in your heart that you shouldn't be doing, it's time to get them off your plate. And sometimes we're just doing things in the business that we just have to be honest with ourselves. ain't growing the business. Like we spend a lot of time on Pinterest. And then one day I just say, okay, guys, it's not really doing anything for us. Let's cut our losses. We'll go to TikTok. And you guys got to be honest. You got to be really honest with yourself. Is this serving the business? Is this growing the business? Is it moving the needle? Or am I just staying busy? And a lot of people just stay really, really busy in their business. So I love this conversation. I love this question. How do I work less and make more? Because what I've found is when you are very intentional and strategic, what you will find is that when you do less, you end up making more. And that's what I want for all of you. I hope this episode was of value to you. I hope it opened your eyes to something that maybe needs to go, or something that you have been putting off in your business that will help you in order to increase revenue without increasing your workload. Because that's what's possible for you. That's what I've been able to do. That's what my students and clients have been able to do. And now it's your time. And if you'd like to learn more from me and my system and approach for building a very scalable and very profitable online business, I invite you to come join me for my 3-part live training workshop entitled The Rise of the Digital CEO, happening this June 2nd. I call it the Digital CEO because the moment we got into business, we created an organization, even if it's just you. That organization consists of several roles. There's the role of customer support and tech and invoicing and your marketing and your sales department, your social media manager, your copywriter, and the CEO. And what I tell my students over and over again is it's the role that you fill in your business that determines the results you receive. And it's time to fill the role that your business needs from you, the role of the digital CEO, so you can start getting the results that you definitely deserve. So I hope you'll come join us for this powerful 3-part training that's designed to completely and radically transform your business from the inside out. We've had students say that this free training was more valuable, more eye-opening, and more mind-blowing than most paid programs they've ever been a part of. And that's because I've been doing this for over 15 years, and I've been able to help thousands of online experts like yourself grow and scale. And yeah, today people call me the Millionaire Maker. I love that title. And that's what's possible for all of us to grow our business. Yeah, to make more money. And most importantly, to help more people. So come join us so that you can do the same in your business. That is The Rise of the Digital CEO, coming June 2nd.
Thank you to everyone who helps make this podcast possible. Content and interviews are produced by me, Serena Shoup. Our intro and outro music is written and performed by my brother, Ian Gilliam. Editing is also by Ian using his awesome sound engineering skills along with Descript software. Hosting and publishing is by Buzzsprout, and you can check out the show notes for links to all of these amazing resources and resources mentioned in the episode.
Embrace ambition.